So there's nothing like a chewy, buttery brioche bun. Store-bought don't stand a chance against these, so get ready. These buns are great for burgers, breakfast sandwiches, and they can be used as an elevated dinner roll as well. And in this recipe, we're going to be using something called a TANGZHONG, and this is going to improve our brioche's texture as well as increase its shelf life. So without further ado, let's dive into the wonderful world of the brioche. Alright, so first things first is we're going to start by making a TANGZHONG. So to make it, we'll add 1/8 of a cup of milk, along with 1 tablespoon of water and 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. We'll whisk that together with the heat off. Then we'll turn the heat on low and continue to whisk until it thickens. Now once it starts to shine, you want to turn the heat off here. And this is what the consistency should look like. It should be glossy and drooping off of your spatula. Next, we're going to begin by setting up our stand mixer with the dough hook attachment. And then we're going to add 1 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour along with 1 teaspoon of salt. Grab a whisk and bring this all together. And then next we'll begin by making our milk and yeast mixture. So add 6 tablespoons of whole milk in a bowl or a plastic container, along with 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. Whisk that together. And then I'm going to warm this in the microwave. I'll remove from the microwave and check with the thermometer. And I'm looking for a temperature of between 110 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'll add 1/2 tablespoon of dry active yeast and let this proof for 15 minutes. And here's our foamy milk and yeast mixture. Then I'll add 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. Then I'll turn my stand mixer on and add my mixture of milk, yeast, and eggs. Once the eggs have been broken up and the wet ingredients are combined, this is where I'll mix everything with a spatula until a shaggy mess occurs. Then I'll add my TANGZHONG and turn my mixture back on to allow the dough to come together. Once it starts to come together and appear smooth, I'll then add about 1.5 tablespoons of softened butter. I'll continue to knead that in my mixer for about 8 minutes until the sides of the bowl are clean. And try to be patient here, just let the dough hook do what it does best, and in time the dough will absorb all of that butter and come together. After 8 minutes of mixing, our brioche dough is finally done. I'll remove from the hook and cover with a pretty kitchen towel and put it in a warm place for 1.5 hours. During this time, I'll prepare my egg wash for my buns, crack 1 whole egg in a bowl along with 1 tablespoon of water, and whisk until a liquid consistency. Now here's my dough after it's been proofed, and as you can see, it's more than doubled in size. Next, I'll punch out the center so that it becomes easier to work with. And then I'll start shaping my dough into a slight boule, which is a French baker's term for round ball. I'll then divide this into 4, and if making sliders, you can most likely make 10 of them with this recipe. And this recipe can easily be doubled and tripled, and don't fret, I'll leave everything down in the description. Next, I'll start rolling the dough with the palm of my hand so that it forms a uniform ball. And then I'll flatten it down by giving it a few gentle taps, and then place it onto a baking sheet lined with a sill mat or parchment paper. And here I'll show you the technique with the remaining buns. And here are my 4 buns. Then we're going to cover once again and proof these a second time for 45 minutes. And here they are after the second proof. Next, I'll brush my egg wash onto these, and this is going to give our brioche a shiny golden crust. Now after the egg wash, I'm going to add some crushed sea salt onto the surface, and this is the stage you can also add sesame seeds if you have some. Then I'll place it into a 350-degree oven for 25 minutes. And after 25 minutes, here are our beautiful brioche buns. And lastly, while hot, I'll cover these with some melted butter. And then place onto a cooling rack and cool for at least 30 minutes. Now after 30 minutes, let's cut into one of these buns. There's so many air pockets, and this brioche was extremely springy, and that was because of the TANGZHONG. Alright, so it's obvious you have to make these, and once you do, you'll never buy store-bought buns again. This was so chewy, buttery, and tasty that I'm thinking of doing a sandwich series specifically dedicated to the brioche bun. So let me know what you think of that in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, keep on cooking.